Welcome back to Observing the Sabbath. I'm Nathaniel Molnar, and we are continuing on through our look at Black Sabbath's fourth studio album, Volume 4. We've already done all the way up through Snowblind, and we're continuing on through with Cornucopia. We're getting into the latter half of this album, and as I've said before through this series, Volume 4 is my favorite of the Black Sabbath albums, at least for right now. As I also have mentioned before, something I've found about myself with Black Sabbath is that my opinions and my taste about Black Sabbath are constantly changing. Right now, Volume 4 is my favorite, but who knows, maybe in 3 months, Technical Ecstasy may be my favorite. You never know. But now that we're getting into the latter half of this album, the B-side of Volume 4 is rather interesting. You have such a strong opening with Snowblind, and then you have a couple of songs in the middle before you get into the strong finish of Under the Sun that are really interesting. There are a few shorter, smaller songs like Cornucopia, like St. Vitus's Dance, but then you also have Laguna Sunrise, which is just a very beautiful, melodic instrumental. There's a lot of really interesting things. I think the A side of Volume 4 is rather jam-packed. You have like the strong, really kick-ass opening of Wheels of Confusion. You have Tomorrow's Dream, which, while it's sort of a simpler song, it has a lot of power to it. Then it kind of goes into Changes, which is the slower song. And then they throw in the little FX, which is like the weird instrumental part before you go right into Supernaut. And then you have the B-side, which is, I just think the construction of this album as a whole is rather interesting. So we're going to listen to Cornucopia, and if you've watched these videos for any period of time, you know that I talk through the songs. This is a commentary. This isn't me listening to the songs for the first time. I am talking about them as I listen, giving you all my thoughts and everything that I think about this song. So let's jump right into it. This is Cornucopia. And now, no fade in, we're just right into it, which they do a lot on this album, which I think is rather interesting. You can do it Wheels of Confusion. A bunch of their songs, they don't really have the fade in, it's just kind of like right into it. Of course, another great riff from Tony Iommi. I love is it the fuzz on this? It's the distortion, the fuzz, whatever, the sound of it just sounds really cool. I love this riff. The drumming is spectacular. I really like the lyrics for this song. As I mentioned at the top of our dive into this album, there's great diversity in terms of the types of things that they're talking about. You have a lot of songs that are more variations of love stories. You have some songs that are kind of talking about the state of life and existence and going very, more metaphorical in that sense. And then you have something like this, which is more diving into the mind and sort of the heaviness of one's thoughts. And I think you see that pop up throughout Black Sabbath songs just in general. But this is a great example of it. I'm trying to save your brain. I think that's one of the things that you could tell with the amount of drug use that they're doing through the making of these albums, but also just the amount that they are talking about it in their songs. The emphasis and the focus on the mind and the influence of one's mind and sort of the thoughts that people have. You can kind of see that connection and how they sort of draw that line all the way through. I talk a lot about what's the mosh moment of the song. This is the mosh moment. Classic All Right from Ozzy. This may be my favorite part, this coming part. I love this. that whole like collection of lyrics is just so great. Ozzy's voice just sounds so good, like the manic tone and like the desperation that he brings to his vocal sensibilities, the riff, just that's like the best part of the album. Now, I mentioned when I talked about Tomorrow's Dream how sometimes the sound of the two songs are very similar, and sometimes like I'll get mixed up a little bit. Like, there'll be times where I'm listening to Tomorrow's Dream and we'll get to a point and in my head I just kind of think it's gonna go right into that I don't know what's happening part of Cornucopia. Sort of a nihilistic tone to this song, which I love. Ozzy's voice is so good in this song. I love this sort of do-do-do-do. It's so good. Alright, that's the end of the song. There's a lot going on in this song. I've talked a lot about, I talked about it with Tomorrow's Dream, how there are a bunch of songs. Black Sabbath will have like their openers and their closers, and they'll have the big songs that have a lot going on. And in the case of Volume 4, like Snowblind has how many different riffs, as does Wheels of Confusion. But then they have some of these songs which are more like the transitionary songs as I described them, where they're kind of taking you from one part of the album to the next. They're shorter songs. They they mainly have like maybe 2 or 3 different riffs, and it's just kind of going through them. So they're not really jam-packed in terms of, constantly changing things up. Like, Cornucopia doesn't have nearly as many changes as, say, changes? As many changes as, say, Snowblind. But there's sort of a lot of power in the shorter, more succinct songs that they do. And that's something what I really like, is that there is that diversity across the whole album. You have the long form, you have the 6, 7, 8 minute, however long Wheels of Confusion / The Strainer is. You have that long form opening. You have such a song like Snowblind that's just constantly changing all the way through. You have the slow song with changes. You have FX, which you just have to listen to and go, what the hell is this? You have such a beautiful song like Laguna Sunrise, which is just like the most beautiful instrumental you can think of. And then you have something like Cornucopia, which is like short and sweet, but it's heavy and just thick in terms of the sound of it. There's so much going on throughout this whole album, and Cornucopia I think is just like a very good example of everything that is happening on this album. So that's all my thoughts on Cornucopia. I think this is a damn good song. Is it a song that I actively seek out and I'm sitting down at my laptop gonna get some work done, and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna listen to Cornucopia? No, not necessarily. I kind of fit in the same vein as, say, An After Forever or Lord of This World or Tomorrow's Dream. But when it comes up on my record, or when it comes up on the playlist, I'm gonna enjoy Cornucopia. That's all my thoughts on the song. I want to know, what do you think of Cornucopia? Do you agree with me and my thoughts on it, or do you have a different take on it? Leave all of your thoughts in the comment section below. And I will, after we finish Volume 4, as I usually do, I will be wrapping up all this talk of Volume 4 by taking a look at your thoughts that you leave in the comment section. So make sure, if you haven't left thoughts on the previous videos for Volume 4, do so, as well as going forward, and I will take all of those, compile them, and answer them in a video after we finish the album. So that's all for me. My name's Nathaniel Molnar. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, make sure to comment, make sure to subscribe for more content as we continue on through Volume 4. So until we tackle the next song on Volume 4, thank you for watching.